Welcome back to the blog, episode 16 at last. Hopefully you've seen the last two videos, 15 part 1 and 15 part 2, so you know the car's running, so you've got an inkling as what I'm going to talk about in this one. The big news is that I finished the, well, not finished, but I got it running well enough that I could do the event last night, which was the Monte Carlo UK start, which went from Paisley down to Dumfries. We did have some issues on the way there, and as a result of the trip out, but I'll get to them in a minute. What I wanted to do first was a quick recap of things that happened in around the MOT and then the run up to yesterday's event. I did have plans to film it all, but best laid plans and all that. I had to really concentrate on getting the car done rather than messing about, spending time doing all this filming. So I didn't get as much as I wanted to do, and I've had a bit of equipment failure yesterday, so I didn't get the video there I wanted, but I'll come to that in a minute. Okay, so the first thing was the MOT. I first got the car running on Wednesday night, I think it was, and I'd arranged on Monday, Tuesday that it was going to be booked in for MOT on Saturday, so there was confidence that I knew it was going to work. The only tuning I was able to do was tuning in the garage at idle, because obviously I couldn't drive it with no MOT. And so Saturday morning came round. I had plans to get up nice and early, get a camera set up in the car, do a bit of video before I set off, blah blah blah. Slept in, which was a good start. Then got the car out, and it only just ran down the street, so it's downhill to the bottom of the road. And it was so rich, it was like 10 AFR, coughed and spluttered, and then I got to the bottom of the hill and went to turn right to go up to the garage to fill up with fuel, and it would only drive on idle. It was so rich, it was unbelievable. Oh, pardon me. Got to the garage, filled up, and went, alright, I'll get my laptop and I'll knock some fuel out of the system. Where's my laptop? I left it at home. So I coughed and split my way back home. Immediately, first thing I did, get a laptop, and I knocked about 20% of the fuel out of the entire map. Once I'd done that, it was okay to drive. It wasn't perfect, but I had the closed loop on, and basically, as I went out along the A66 to Whitehaven, Workington, where I have the MOT done, it's like a 45-mile journey. I stopped at various laybys en route and looked at the mapping, and looked at the calculated fuel corrections that the ECU had done, and also the Lambda history, because I had the laptop next to me running the whole time. And each time I made changes, it got better and better. So basically, by the time I was cruising along the A66, far side of Bass Lake, which is nearly towards Workington, it was cruising pretty well at 55, 60, which was all I could do in the traffic. And in fact, traffic was holding me up, and it was pulling really well. So MOT came, it passed, which was the main thing. There's a little bit of video coming up about that. I just made quick thoughts afterwards in the car before I set off to come back. The only issue I had really with the car for the MOT was that the handbrake, it's a twin cable handbrake on these older minis, and the driver's side one, the driver's side cable was a bit slacker than the passenger side. What I've had to do is I've turned up the adjuster. I mean, it's alright at the back, it's all adjusted correctly at the back, but I've had to pull the cable tighter at the front on the actual handbrake, and even then it's still slack. It's not as good as it should be. It's as though the actual handbrake cable is too long. And I remember reading somewhere, it might have been on Calver's column in Minimag, that the handbrake cables now they provide are too long. So I don't know what I'm going to do about that. I mean, I've got it tightened up quite a lot, and there's a little compensator spring on the mechanism on the handbrake, and it's scrunched up as much as it can be now. So I'm really running out of adjustment on the handbrake cable. So I'm not really entirely sure how I'm going to solve that one. But that's by the by. But the main thing is it passed the MOT, and you'll see my immediate thoughts on it now. Well, that's it. MOT done and passed. This is what it's all about, this bit of paper. Now all I've got to do is sort out the tax when I get home. But before that, I'm going to do some remapping On the way here this morning I was constantly stopping to adjust the fueling map, and when I was waiting in the reception of Edgar's here, that's where I've been. You can see that. Edgar's at Dunmill Park. Focus, there we go, that's where I've been. And it's just a case now of tweaking the map a bit more and getting ready to drive home. It came out along the A66 without too much problems. God, that motor noise is annoying. But yeah, it performed pretty well. There is a bit of a weak spot when you just set off, so I'll try and sort that. So I need to upload from disk. There we go, that's the fuel pump. So upload from disk, that's it. Let's see how we go on the way home. I'll have it on the main fuel map constantly. Real-time mapping I'll have on as well. Jesus Christ, that motor's annoying. Sorry about this. And I'll also have on the lambda test, lambda history. I don't know if you can see this. I'll put it on there where it's going to sit on the way home. Now it doesn't want to focus. Stupid thing. Oh well, never mind. Make it focus. There we go. So it's lambda history recorded on the PC, and then it creates figures in here for the fueling as it reads it off the lambda as it's going along. It gives you a value, and then it keeps averaging it out as it goes along. And then there's a button down here. You click on counts to tell me how many times it's been through each cell. And you click on difference down there. It gives you the difference between the lambda figure it's recorded in there, the average lambda figure, and the one from your target map. I think it's in percentage. And then when you're happy that you've got a lot of readings on each cell and it's a good accurate average, then you click apply and it alters the main fuel map, which is that one in the background there. So I'll just set off back along the A66 and see how we come on. See how it drives. It shouldn't be too bad, but as I said, there's a bit of a weak spot in here somewhere. I don't really know where it is. Somewhere about 1500, 1200 RPMs. It just dies when I'm setting off. So I'll just have to see how we'll go with tweaking that. And then this lot in here is the main running. 11% throttle is where you are when you're cruising on the A66, about 60 mile an hour. It's sort of in this area. 3250 to 3,500 RPM. So I'll keep tweaking that as I drive home. But main thing is MOT passed. so the MOT was passed. I was able to drive home, doing some more mapping as I went. It was getting better and better the further I went, the more mapping I did. Obviously, because I was MOT'd, I was able to tax it, and the plan was on, well, the plan originally was on to spend Saturday and Sunday driving about doing some mapping. But one of the things I wanted to get done was I wanted a bonnet with a complete bonnet, because when I went for the MOT I used the old bonnet for the IDA with a big hole in it, and I wanted a bonnet sorting for the Monte on Wednesday. So basically the most of Saturday and Sunday I spent prepping a bonnet, modding it to fit. It just needs some more modding, but that's by the by, and painting it. All I did was, well, with Christopher's assistance, we had it blasted on Saturday afternoon. Fortunately, Chris had access to a blaster cabinet that was big enough to put the whole bonnet in. Got all the crap off it because it was really bad for surface rust. Nice solid bonnet, but covered in surface rust. Got it cleaned off and started prepping it and painting it and sanding it and getting trying to get the marks out of it and the dents and whatnot, you know, usual sort of paint job stuff. But I was just using rattle cans, and it was just standing in the garage doorway, so it was always going to be a rough ass job. And the idea was to put a load of stickers on it to hide as many of the rough bits as possible. But it turned out to be a lot rougher than what I even intended. I mean, at one point I got the sandpaper mixed up when I thought I was using the fine grade to smooth it all off, and it was the rough. When I looked at the back of it, it was like rough ass stuff. I was like, oh, scratches everywhere. But anyway, that was by the by. It was passable in the dark, which was the main thing. So the bonnet was ready on Sunday. Well, it was left to dry overnight on Sunday night, and then Monday morning I put it on. Now I think I finished it on maybe Monday night, and then Tuesday, yeah, that was it. Because Tuesday I had it off, a day off work to try and get the car ready. I obviously knew I was going to have time issues when I booked that holiday back in November or December. Obviously, my subconscious knows that all these things always go to shit. So, bonnet on Tuesday, about dinner time, it got all finished and put back on. And then I spent most of Tuesday, well, in fact, most of Tuesday afternoon, sorting out the stickers and putting the stickers on it. There's a few pictures I did in next with just the various paint stages and the stickers finally on. It was rough, but it was fine for what I needed for Wednesday night.
I remember this car from last year.